Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you how to build a hydraulic piston in the field in the rain for the last 3 days in downtown Key Largo. So let's start with the mud. As you can see, this is what it takes to get to the job. I have to get a running start out at about 20 miles an hour to get through this mud, which goes back about 300 feet. So that's the first obstacle that you need to overcome in order to build the piston rod on the field or in the field. Then you need tools, naturally. But that's all the easy stuff. The hard part is to get this piston rod and this piston cylinder apart. Now, this is the piston cylinder that performs the tilt of the bucket. This is the piston rod. This is the piston rod end, and this is the end of the piston rod, not the piston rod end. This part that has the pin going through it is the piston rod end. Now, as you can see, the paint is gone from here, and the reason that the paint is gone from here is because in order to bust that piston apart that's been together for 17 years, you have to take a torch and heat the piston up on all 4 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once you get the piston heated up with a number 10 tip on this torch, once you get the piston heated up, the piston cylinder heated up, then you can place your piston rod cylinder wrench, which you'll notice is just a 2-foot Stilson wrench that is lashed with rope, with polypropylene line from a lobster pot. It's lashed to this 6-foot bar, and when I say lashed, I just mean wrapped around and a piece of tape holding the end. Then Rob was kind enough to help me by leaning his full body weight of about 190 pounds on the end of that bar while I heated up this piston on 4 sides, and it finally broke after 15 minutes of heat. And I will show you the plunger and the piston rod end cap. This is the plunger that's going on the end of the piston rod. These are some of the parts to put the plunger together. That's the simple part. However, once a piston gets to be old, this wiper seal that is pressed into this groove or notch, even though it's tight when you bang it in, sometimes it pops back out. So you're supposed to glue it in place with a special 2-part glue that Caterpillar sells. But here's the problem. This circumference has rusted for 17 years, and even though it's a minimal amount of rust, it's several thousandths of an inch. So even though you can bang the seal, wiper seal, back into that hole with the glue and it seems tight, it will pop out. So I modify my end caps every time by taking a drill in the field or with a drill press. In this case, it was in the field. I took a drill bit and drilled 6 holes around the perimeter of the end cap in the center of the mass that's underneath there. You have to find the center of the mass so you don't go through and come out on the threads, which you'll notice was not done here. So I drill these holes, then I put the wiper seal in place, and then in each hole I have modified some stainless steel washers and non-magnetic stainless steel self-tapping screws. And I put 1 self-tapping screw in each hole. However, before I do that, I put never-sees on these self-tapping screws. And I put 1 of these self-tapping screws and washer in each hole with never-sees. Then, once I get my end cap on, I put their O-ring on here, and I put never seize on these threads, the male threads, and never seize on the female threads. And the next time you go to take it off, you can't screw it off by hand, but you don't need a 6-foot bar. You could do it with a 2-foot Stilson. And that is how to rebuild a Caterpillar piston in the field. Now I do that with all my end caps. All my end caps. As soon as I take them off, I drill my holes. If it does go out into the threads, you just drill another hole. It won't hurt anything. And naturally we use the old Milwaukee drill from the 70s. So ladies and gentlemen, this is piston repair in the field, in the mud, with the modified Stilson wrench. And Michael Fazio in downtown Key Largo saying, this is difficult, but not impossible. And it stopped raining, so I decided to do a little video. As you can see, it looks like it's about to rain again. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, piston, Caterpillar piston rebuild, repair, and in the field by Michael Fazio, and have a nice day.